This daf here, Yerushalmi Shabbos, in the article Oz V'Har edition with daf Samach Aleph Amar Aleph. The second line, V'Atnina Shabbos on Gamliel, and in the Vilna, that's Nun Amar Aleph, and that is 3, 6, 9, 10th line down. V'Atnina Shabbos Gamliel. And yesterday we said that Gamliel holds that you can't do borer. You can't even do evidently borer of ochel mitoch psoles. He's as Cormier said, there's only matir ladiach to rinse, and any other type of borer is not permitted. And that's on Yontif. Of course, and to tell you about, even though it's Yontif, Bora is not permitted. So the question is, but didn't we learn that they allowed, the Hazar Gamliel allowed you to grind peppers in their grinders on Yontif. So that seems to be much more severe. The mutter chom asle you're allowed to be grinding and not allowed to be borer. It's interesting. The Korban says bitmiya came the shchika and tchina that the shchika and tchina shari shu ma'isa kaidim librera koshken librera shari. In other words, he's going with the idea which we find. I think it's in the Bavli being a Beitza that the Chazal on Yontif were matir only from a certain point on, from Lisha and on, in the process of making bread. And here too, if they're matir from tchina, which is an earlier process in the food preparation, so she's very matir breira, which is a later process of food preparation. I'm not sure that that's what the Yerushalmi means. Could just mean that, like I said before, that tchina seems to be much more severe maisa, and yet they allowed it on Yontif, so they should allow breira on Yontif. So Rabbi Yosef Shemina said, "Lo hilu tchina kedarka." No, also tchina. You're not allowed to do tchina kedarka, like Cormier says. Loiter Gamliel lishchok el shlok kedarka. Tchina b'chaim shalom Gamliel lo have a tchina kedarka. Evidently, this tchina in their grinder, according to Gamliel, is not considered to be tchina to kedarka, which is a bit surprising. But he brings down the name of the Rashba. And the article elaborates in this way. He says that Melechas Tchina is only when you do large amounts for many days, such as when you grind grain. But grinding peppers, even in their designated grinders, is done in small amounts for the day, on the day. So therefore, it's not considered to be the Melechas Teichen, which would be Aser on Yontif. Okay? So, Uminayin Shein Borim V'lo Tochnin V'lo Maraktin. So how do we know that all the these malachas cannot be done on Yontif? Shabbos for the Mishkan. Yontif, evidently, since Ochel Nefesh, we're not automatically learning for the Mishkan. So how do we know these you're not allowed to do? So according to the Bavli, of course, it would be Rabbanon. Yerushalmi seems to hold it's the Raisa. Yerushalmi says, Rabbi Yosef Shem Hashem Lord said, "Kol machai yaseh adu shmartem es hamatzos." So again, look at the Korban Eda. Kol machai yaseh behem soilei shmartem matzos lamed milisha be'elach, from the time you need to watch the matzos. Means from kneading and onwards, that's permissible. But not anything prior to that in the Sidur de Pas, in making the bread, including Tchina and Argada, and certainly Lisha and Katsira. So therefore, learn out from this pasuk. I don't know if it's according to Yerushalmi, it's actually the Raisa or not. It sounds from the Pnei Moshe that it's the Raisa Mamish. It says, okay, so the Tani Rabbi Yossi Boy, we learned the Bryce of Yossi asked a question. Klum lo tavshil elamikan. So the let's see the pay Moshe on this. Klum lam lo tavshil elamikan. Klomar hare lo lamdu lamar she'ena yotze b'matzah shel tavshil. You only learn that you're not yotze with matzah, which is cooked, and we see with shmartim. Kamil kam per kol shah b'lacha dalet. It says in Psachim, Yotze de Chavasa Birvucha can be yotze your obligation with cooked matzah. Tamash Marta matzah. This is it has been that smart matzos. You have to be able to make sure the matzahs don't become leavened. Matzahs to chicha shimor, matzahs requires watching. Yotze Zushen Tzricha as opposed to one which is not required watching. The Shimon Vushas aim when it's cooked, evidently it's like cholut. It seals it and can't come to the echimutz. Now according to the Rash Hayu Shmartem, the Yutar Dash Shmartem Lamed Shekom Lachashin Kodem Lechas Alisha. Your teacher is almost prior to Lisha. She had Tzricha Shmira, which from there on in you require with Shmira. Shein Asurim that they're forbidden. Came in all the midrash Mute Matzah Vushalos. Shein Yitzibah saying they're not Yitzib to cook matzah. The Yitzib Shmartem Lidrosh Al Dilach. You smart them for your drasha. That's what happens pretty much learning. It's a drasha mamish. But legal made a tight to I can't say you derive two things from this passage. The midig so kasa lishta the shmira, since it says losh smart them, so it says some indicates two things that you're only allowed to do from lisha be'elach, and that has to be something which requires lisha. The lesa can't be. You love aksibu smart them elabas sisem. It would have not said shmartim, but rather said sisem. Lavi and seal kom lachas hakoymin. I wouldn't have known to that us or the prior malachas. I mean, the kom lachas tzich lasi asam matzah sitir Torah. And I thought that all malacha was required to make matzahs the Torah was printed. Malachas hakoymin gankim v'klal, including prior malachas to lisha. So therefore, it has to have said shmartim for the purpose of telling us that from lisha and on it's printed, but not prior to lisha. In that case, it's not mutar, it's not superfluous. Because Chusab Asisa has to say Shmartim. So how do you know that you're not Yotzim Matzah Mevushelas? That's what I was asking. We only learn to cook dishes, meaning cooked matzah, from here. So Yossi, therefore, he has a similar Joshua, but not quite the same Joshua, in order to avoid this question. Yossi said, only that which can be eaten for the soul, it'll be done for you. And it says here, ad, but the Masorah Shasi changes it to min, ushmartim es hamatzos. We learned that ad from ushmartim es hamatzos, so it's a hekish, not a yafusa. In other words, it's a linkage, drawn between min, we learn out from ushmartim es hamatzos. So that's the so pretty much is why longer, so I'm not going to do it inside. But point is, again, we avoid the question of we need that that's the case. The drasha is required for the must he do it to pass on Yosef? What you're allowed not allowed to do? No, it's not. We're not the drasha is still from Shmatas and Matzahs. The Matzah Kashmir is supposed to cook matzah, and but from the hekish of Achia Shechol Nefesh Odeyosechem and Ushmartim es hamatzos, from that we learn that from Lisha Be'elach is what's permitted, not anything prior to Lisha. And they are, in fact, the two, I don't know, it actually means Zashin and Smuchin, but it is Smicha. Smicha is the two psukim next to each other, Shmos Yud Beis, Tez Zayin Yud Zayin, which happens to be when we're learning this Gemara, this week's Parsha. Tain Chizke Polik. Chizke gives a different drasha to preclude these malachas on Yom Tif. And he says it's learned out, and Korban actually puts in a word here, Ach hu levado. She says in more Ach hu, or maybe that's all. Also has levado, even though the Vilna does not. The article puts in levado into the text itself. Ach hu levado. Those three mutim. Arelu mutim. There's three exclusions. Sholik tzor. They exclude harvesting, lichon, grinding, v'lo larkid, and sifting b'yontif. Rabbi Zira, Rabbi Chia, by Rashi, b'shem Shmuel said, Hamishamer chayav mishum borer. So like the Korban puts out, and shows in Shmochim, L'zliya v'sin, you put dregs, put dregs of wine into a sieve, and you strain a strainer, then you strain out the wine. Rabbi Zera said, "Lo mistar da ela mishum rakid." So he says it's not borer, but rather merakid, which is sifting. Rabbi Yosef trained Amin Mikad Mesa Amin Yos Rabbi Zera. So Rabbi Yosef said, they both said initially we said Rabbi Zera is correct. Ma merakid, just like why is it similar to sifting? Ma merakid kemach milamaton, v'solos milamalon. By merakid, the fine flour comes down out of the sieve, and the coarser granules, soles, remain on top.Amishamer yain milamata. So by mishamer, straining the wine, the yain milamata, the wine goes down, and shmoli milamata, the dregs remain on top. But no, what we said was incorrect. Because in fact borer. Lamashu uta mikla beira uta mikla shmira. He says, Carmen says, Yontav huta mikla Shabbos leches breira. Yontav is permitted as opposed to Shabbos and leches breira. L'shemutar livor b'yontav. Chen l'shimar kil b'yontav k'farish b'samach. It's the shimar is also on Yontav. So l'masha enke b'harkada. It's supposed to be sifting. L'mativ shu harkada b'yontav b'yolam. Sifting is never permitted on Yontav. So again, let's read inside again. Lama, well, actually, it should be lama here. Actually, lama. Huta mikla beira, huta mikla shimur. Why? Because huta mikla beira, that was Yontav mutar mikla beira, and it's mutar mikla shimur. Huta mikla beira. We know that Yontav is mutar in terms of beira. Baraka darker, allowed to beira on Yontav b'cheik of tamchui in your lap and in a pot. Huta mikla shimur, right? And it's mutar to do shimra yotav. After nesim tlib yotav, you can put the dregs in the strainer yotav. V'lota miklal arkada, but you now have to sift on yotav. Tomorrow Rabbi Chanina ber Yesa, Rabbi Chanina ber Yesa said, Yeben Yasa said b'shem Rabbi Yehuda, ein shoyn es hakemach. It says, as we sifted it yesterday, Bolish Nosam and Napa, so then you want to do it again with a sieve on Yotzev, and you can't do it. Ain't shunning. You do it again. Napa, but you can do it with a shinoi on the back of a sieve. So in Mishum Meraked, and if you're going to say that Mishamer is Chai because of Meraked, you also should be also to do it Kedarko, which you allowed it to do, you just allowed us to do. Rabbi Yehuda, that which you just disallowed sifting on the second sifting on Yontav is not like Rabbi Yehuda. The time Shem Rabbi Yehuda, Avo Machshir Ochel Nevesh Yitiru, Machshir Ochel Nevesh, even though it's good of them about Yom, which you did, you do it a second time now. He was matzir on Yontav, and here we're not. The time the Shem Rabbi by the Damilsa. So probably there's a word or two missing here, but yeah. So it's a question according to Rabbanan. Damilsa is a question according to Rabbanan. So I really should say that. Ma'asha has come according to Napa Rabbanan. That's a word. It made that word Rabbanan should have been in the line before. But then Mr. Rabbanan. Okay, but the more meaning is clear. That which it says to be allowed to Mishana Sakim Klachor Navataka. Is that only Rabbi Yehuda is that which says Makni Lachari Napa? Is that only permitted according to Rabbi Yehuda, who says Moshe Ochel Nefesh are permitted on Yontif Yikudam Yom, or even Karabbanan is being done with the Shinoi? It's okay, and the Gemara does not resolve the question. V'atoichin. Hayin the shachak melech. Somebody who grinds salt, coarse salt and the finer salt. There it says chasaf, and the many unfortunate chasaf means pottery. There's a whole discussion in the Art Scroll about grinding pottery. But the Yerushalmi Kipshuto suggests it should be just hashaf pilpulin. Somebody who scrapes, grinds peppers. Chay mishun tochen, chay mishun tochen. Hayin the chashar gurubusin. Somebody who sifts a type of building material. guess it's a type of um, cement or something. Plaster. Well, the article is a bit muddled on this. It seems that he's learning first. It seems to be bran, but then he also says the type of plaster afterwards. Anyway, so if you're sifting plaster, motes, is a type of straw, chol, type of sand, or dirt, chaybam shemraket, some of your siftings for building materials. It's a derivative of maraket. Hein the gaval girbusin, somebody who mixes the plaster, makes into a paste. Afar, there's dirt. Kilurin. Kilurin is an eye ointment. Melugma is a type of ointment. Simonim, another type of herb. Chayav mishum lush. You are chayav on these on account of lush. I should point out that the Korbanei Moshe says, "Kamashmalan she'af she'ein dargim she'el arkidim here kid chayiv." Even though you don't have to do all these things necessarily, at least by the Harkodah ones, if you did do them, you're chayiv on account of Harkodah. It's not considered to be Bamadaita. It's called them. No, it's something which some people will do occasionally, I guess, and therefore you're chayiv. But I think he's making that point more on the Moroccan ones, not on the lush ones. But in any event, all these things show us that all these things are not just by food. Obviously, there are by other substances as well. Rabbi Bar Bar Memo Boy, he asked a question. Taman, by the issur of making menachos as into chametz. If you need, K-N-E-A-D, menachos as chametz, and you set them into loaves, and if you bake them. So here evidently they all fall under the category of lush. So what's the difference? That they're all considered to be well. Let me think about it a second. Yeah, what I said Nafila is separate. So the Lisha Aricha, they're separate. That's the question. Nafila is anyway separate. Obviously, by Shabbos is separate as well. But by Lush and Orech, by Menachos, I can say be two separate Isurim, if they're made of Chometz. And by Shabbos, it's one Isur. They both fall in the category of Lisha. So why the difference between Shabbos and the Menachos? So so el tamen yesh lo lachlok chayav aklachas vachas. So the Korban explains that afia yotzim min haklau. It's afia is yotzim min haklau. It's yotzim min haklau. Obviously the lamed. Shekvar nemer it says lo saseh chametz. Don't make chametz. Don't make bo lo sefer chametz. Why does it say the yotzim min haklau? That's including asiya. And lamed kol shuim yuchedes maaseh yechidi. Anything which is a distinct ma'aseh chel levnei atzma. You're chayav on independently. Afani avi lishasa bar yichasa chayav en aklachas vachas. So too lish and aricha. Since I can divide them up as separate ma'asim, so therefore chayav on each and every one. Bram hacha eno chayav elachas. But here says Gemara, it's only one. So there it says. Wait a minute. So actually, that's the end of the actually what it says. Talmud yesh lo lachlok. Therefore, it's chayav kachas bram hacha eno chayav elachas. That's actually an answer. That's the Agmar goes on to new thing. Archami. So the Archami is a real new statement. Archami afia tola the bishul. Badam archein. You see, afia baking is a tolada. It's a bishul. It's a derivative of a bishul. Why does the Mishnah mention ofer and not mevashel, which is the primary melacha? And begin to say that since our Mishnah is going in order of the things of our making bread, so therefore it says afia, which is which is obviously the cooking when it comes to making bread. And now again, like I said, we're going into types. So I just said how Moroccan was chayav by various different substances. Also cooking. So I have different substances. The Shinur Schos has the ozin instead of the in, and it means to to balance, which means here to strengthen. Like the Rambam writes, if you cook kli adama, cook earthenware until it becomes kli cheres, you're chayev. That's considered to be bishul. So vein the ozin kirkedin. Evidently, these kli adama making the kli cheres, or similarly Mashiach. There's a girsa here musach, and it evidently means to smelt. You're smelting bulus, which is a type of kilus, or bulus is a different girsa here. And the shenischolos means a glass. You're melting glass. Share zifus, share musrin. And these are also, you dissolve this zipa, this pitch, and dissolve some sort of musrin, which is another type of material here. All these are materials with which you make things. And all these are chayev mishum avasha, because they're all cooking these substances in order to make other things out of them. Ravel b'shem Rabbi Yosef said, "Matich avar," somebody who melts. That word Meshiach and that word, this word Mesich, are somehow similar words. Okay, and now we're back to food. Hatzola is somebody who roasts. V'amatag is somebody who fries. V'asholik somebody who cooks. V'amash is somebody who smokes. Kulam mishum vashel, all derivatives of vashel. What if you cook in the hot waters of Tveria, the hot springs? Chizkiya Amar Aser. Chizkiya says Aser. Rabbi Yochanan Amar Mutter. So is that considered to be a type of forbidden cooking or not? So Amar Rabbi Mana Rabbi Yochanan said, "As Chizkiya said, I heard Rabbi Zikam Chizkiya said Lichizkiya Tzicholei." The Rabbi said the name of Chizkiya. The following question was asked. Pesach is bashel b'chamei tveria mau. A Pesach which is cooked in chamei tveria, is that the issue of not to cook on Pesach, or is chamei tveria not considered to be a form of cooking? Train amaloin. So machlokas amaloin. The charamar aser, one says aser, charamar mutter. Yes, it's mutter. Mar aser out of no v'shel mubushal b'mayim. It says the. Moshe explains, no matter what. And the man the Amar who says mutar kiyim tzli eish shokrav al kirbo. And the Moshe explains, kiyim tzli eish ve'eish miyutaru. Eish is superfluous. And midrash yuka, it comes to make an inference. The mashim vushal eish v'lo tzli hu da'asa Torah. That is cooked on fire other than roasting. This is what the Torah says. The Loni Bishul, opposed to cooking a Chamei Torah, which is not called Bishul. And that brings us to the end of the Amud. So we'll stop here for today.